I would say we have a love for movies. We do. Yeah. Well, you don't love movies? Am I wrong? Do we not have that in common anymore?
I do. I just think it's like of all things, you're like, we both love the movie.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
Recording in progress.
Sir. That's my Australian. Sorry. If you watch our podcasts, they are on YouTube. It gives another, I feel like, level into our world if you watch them, because half of I feel like what we do is visual. Like you have a great podcast. Everything is actually way funnier when I can see you. Anyways, you should check it out because sometimes Ryan makes funny faces.
You know what?
What's up?
I forgot that our podcast was on YouTube.
Wow. Welcome to our life and what we've been doing for the last 3 years.
I don't know if I like that.
Why?
I don't know if I like that.
Why? What are you doing like in the videos? You haven't done anything bad.
Well, sometimes I like when you're talking, I just like stop listening and you can tell in my face. I'm like, well,
now I got to find, we have to do like
is my audio
roll.
okay? I feel like my audio's not on.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay.
We need to do like a roll where we just find clips of you being like, she's annoying and I'm not listening.
We did an interview today. We were being interviewed today.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where the two of you guys had this like conversation about me and her husband. And I thought to myself, like, what the hell? Where's this going? Like, why are you guys being so mean to us?
No part of that was mean.
You
What
guys
are
were talking about like, oh yeah, do you ever feel like your partner doesn't like appreciate what you're doing? And you're like, oh yeah, for sure.
No,
and I'm like, what?
That's not actually what happened at all. So you did completely tune out. She said, I've messaged you. And I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling it because my friend is newly working from home and she's working with her husband. And I'm like, girl, I get it. Like, we've been through the same thing. How is that mean? Oh my God, would you like a tissue?
No, I'm just saying there was a period. Oh, wow.
Like, that was mean.
That is like 1994. Like,
yeah, it gets you though. It
come
gets
back,
you.
loser.
It gets you. That wasn't mean at all. It was me being like,
wow,
yes,
that was
I'm a
loud.
sounding board for you to vent to, because we've done it and it's not easy working from home together and then working like together from home.
What? What?
Working from home.
Yeah.
Together, but maybe separately. Like, you guys are both doing your own jobs, but you are both working from home and then working together in your same job from home. They're two different things.
Yes.
It did just sound like I was slightly ridiculous.
Yes, queen.
Anyways, we've got a lot going on today for the podcast. We're kind of going to move all over the place. But before we do that, we have a couple. Well, I want to tell the one story about what just happened upstairs.
Which one?
The laundry basket.
Oh, you.
So,
Father of the year.
I feel like we have a lot of these stories from you.
This last couple of weeks, I feel like I have probably. You know what? The truth is, I feel like I've been a great dad,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've been connecting with my kids at a very high level the last couple of weeks. I've been like really honed in on spending quality time with them. I think the more quality time I spend with them, the more mistakes I make.
Well, for example, it's not maybe mistakes. You just aren't really thinking because you're just so caught up in like the moment of it being super fun. Maybe that's it. Okay. So anyways, Cooper, we had a laundry basket on the main floor and,
No shocker there. I wasn't doing the laundry.
Yeah. And that's the story. That's the story.
I did that laundry, by the way.
Because I asked you to.
Yep. And I did it.
It sat there and I was like, I guess I'm going to have to ask him. Anyways, so Cooper's in the basket and Ryan's like spinning him around, right? Like, oh, that's super fun. But Ryan picked up this cactus and I've seen the ad all over social media. It's like the one for babies essentially. And the baby says something and then the cactus repeats it and like does a little dance in like a funny voice. So this cactus is on. And what that means is basically like it's just ready to pick up whatever sounds you have and it repeats it in this funny voice. So
it's a Nina Repeata.
Cooper is spinning around in this and it gets aggressive real quick. It escalates.
I have a thing with spinning.
Yeah,
when my kids, here's the thing.
You do.
Here's the thing. I think this might just be a dad thing or like a dude thing. I don't know. But when your kid is laughing and they're having a good time and the faster you go, the louder their laugh goes.
Yeah.
There's a part of you that wants to go as fast as humanly possible.
So he does. And Cooper inevitably flips and falls out of the basket, smoking the back of his head on the ground.
He hit it delicately.
He did not. I
He
heard
cried.
the thud. It was loud. So he was like, "Bleh," and then the cactus is right beside him. And it does this little dance and it's like, and like it took. Did you see Riley when it did that?
I didn't
Riley
see the
was behind
cactus.
you.
I didn't see the cactus stick its tongue out.
Oh my God. Whatever. It was doing a little dance. Riley was behind you at the kitchen counter and she was coloring. And so the cactus does that. Cooper's bawling. Riley turns around right after the cactus like made fun of Cooper essentially. And she was like this. Like trying not to laugh, and I was holding it in because he really was hurt, and it was just the worst and best timing of all time.
So
like,
I'm picking him up. I'm holding him because keep in mind I was over top of him spinning him. So when he fell.
You probably moved your leg out of the way.
I moved my leg again. I didn't want to get my leg hit by his head, so I moved my leg and his head hit the ground. So I was immediately there for him. And at first I knew it hurt because he didn't do anything at first.
Yeah.
So I was
There's
like,
no sound.
As a dad, you can't be the first to say anything. So when your kid is hurt, you got to let them be hurt. Or if you say, "Are you hurt?" then they're like, "Wah."
Yeah.
So you gotta let them find their shit. And so for me, I let him kind of do his thing, and then literally the second he decided to start crying, this thing mimics him, and I look up at you, and you look at me, and we're both like, "This is the funniest shit I have ever seen in my entire life." But I cannot react to this like thing making fun of Cooper.
It was the best.
I feel like deep down inside, he knew what happened and he kind of thought it was funny.
But he couldn't laugh through the pain because he had a concussion.
No, he just had a little goose egg at the back of his head.
Okay.
But, speaking of Cooper, because I'm now looking at it right here. This is an embarrassing thing, and this is something that I'm not proud of. But keep in mind, this is my office, and my notepad is my notepad. And I was taking notes from a meeting, and the meeting was about whatever it was about, and I was taking notes.
Well, you're going to have to say what it's about because that's the funniest part of the notes.
So we're working with a brand right at the moment on the media company, and they happen to be in the adult space. And I don't mean like porno.
Yeah.
I mean like adult toy space.
Sure.
And we're working with them. And so we're cataloging some of the stuff that we want to bring up and talk about and have discussions about and blah, 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 blah. And one of those
brand
things,
strategy for them.
yeah. And so I'm looking down at my notepad here and I see Cooper's writing, and I'm like, "Coop, what are you writing, buddy?" And I look over, and in big writing, it says 3-way and swingers. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Well, in the notes that I had left from the meeting, one of the last things I had wrote down was threesome, swingers, kink, and communication.
Daddy, look at me copying your letters.
And you guys will hear next week, we have an unbelievable podcast.
About how to eat ass.
An unbelievable podcast with Luna Matata. With Luna Matata, and one of the discussions that she talks about is eating ass.
It's such a good podcast.
Next week is so fun.
It's so fun.
I highly recommend you don't listen to it with your kids, but super fun.
None of our episodes you should listen.
Anyways, I was taking notes. I had notes, and so I looked down, and sure enough, Cooper's like, just writing,
It's so
innocently.
innocent
He
too.
has no.
It looks like I thought that you wrote that with your left hand while you were drunk.
Well, here's the thing. So at first he wrote swing, right? But before he put the G, I thought he was writing swim, and I thought, wow, Cooper, like you.
Wow,
That's
good
really
sounding it out.
Yeah, and then I looked above it where in big writing it said three-way, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what is that? Like, why is he writing that? And then when I realized that it wasn't an M, it was an N, and then it was followed by a G.
Did he say like, Daddy, I copied your letters, or did you just notice that like organically?
I just noticed it. It's right above it is my writing. It says three-way swingers, kink and communication.
Cute. It's so cute.
It's super cute, but
It's
like
really
at the
cute.
same token of all the things for my son, because Cooper's got one of those memories where if he writes this down, he'll go to school and write it because he knows he spelt something right.
How are you doing today?
Swinging.
Three-way swingers. That's how I'm doing.
Just swinging. Yeah.
All right. So
Smashing.
we have we're going to get into something in probably the last half, but I do want to bring up this discussion that we've had a few times. And every time we have it,
we talked about it before the podcast. Like, shocking. I know
oh
it.
my God.
Tell me more, Brittany. Where is this going to go?
We've had this discussion a few times just in our personal life, usually when we're driving up to your parents, because that's the time we get 3 hours to talk. And so it's the topic of good news versus bad news and who you can tell it to. And what I mean by that is most of your friends you tell your good news to, right? You're like, you tell bad news to, right? Everybody, it's the classic saying, like, misery loves company. And it doesn't even have to be that aggressive. Like, it can just be like, I'm having a shitty day, and your friends could be like, relatable. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I get it. Or if something's not going right at work, they can be like, yeah, I get it. Like, my job sucks right now too. And there's a sense of relatability there. Okay. But then then we started talking about when you have good news, who do you share the good news with? And it's a very select group of people. And I don't mean like good news, like, you know what? I'm having a great day. I just won a roll up the rims Tim Hortons cup. I mean, like, say you got a promotion at your job, say you just paid your mortgage off, or say you bought a new property, like huge news. That news is shared with a select group of your friends for a reason, because most people don't take good news well. And we started talking about like the whole frenemy thing. Like, people are rooting for you, but like, are they rooting for you? And so it's a really fun kind of, it's actually not fun. It's going to be like, wow, who the fuck are our friends if you're going through it? But ask yourself and your partner, say you guys won the lottery and it was like a significant amount of money. Who would you tell? Because I think that will give you a baseline of who your true ride or die, we want the best for you friends are.
And you know what? Here's the real challenge, because when you really think about it, it's not just good news. It's the detail in the good news.
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, you did get a new job, and instead of saying, I got a promotion, do you tell them to the extent of what your promotion is?
Do you downplay it?
Or do you feel like, well, you know what? That's a little braggadocious of me.
Right.
But like, we were talking about this, and I was saying there's a good friend of mine who gave me amazing news about his career. And I can tell you, at the core of my being, there wasn't one single part of me that said, must be nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or, wow, okay, like you really deserve that. There was no negativity whatsoever. And I realized that I am someone that you can come to with good news, because no matter how good your news is, if it's life-changing, you won the lottery, and like, I may never see you again because you realize I don't really want to be in this situation when I can be in Hawaii.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how happy I am for you.
Yeah.
Like, I am truly, honestly happy for you. But I can't say that I have a very large pool of people that I give good news to.
Yeah. And I honestly don't think you're alone in that. Like, I think my guess would be most people would have no more than 5 people, and 5 would be like incredible that you could tell incredible news to. And I think another question to kind of piggyback on that is not only are you going to share this good news with who you're going to share it, when you share it, are you also like, to your point, are you sharing the entirety of it? Or are you like, before I share this, are you asking yourself, do I have to like dumb this down a bit? Am I going to come across X, Y, and Z? Because if you have to ask those questions, this person clearly doesn't know you, right? Like, is this going to come across braggadocious? Well, if they know me, they know that I'm not saying this because I'm bragging. I'm saying this because I'm excited and I want to share it with somebody.
You're proud of what happened.
Right. And so I think that if you have to ask yourself those things, it's just, and it's not to be like, well, fuck you guys, we're not friends anymore. It's more just to realize where the relationship is and like, and what you are providing for each other. Is it a surface friendship that's like super easy that you guys can like shoot the shit with? Amazing. But if it's like a deeper connection, it's going to be very evident where and how these people continue to fit into your life. It's just strange. As you get older, I think that these are more prevalent conversations.
I feel like women, and I'm not trying to paint people with a brush here, but I feel like women more than men, and we've talked about this numerous times. Recently, we talked about this. Men don't typically share anything of substance with each other. And here's my thing. When I get news from like whatever, whomever, I obviously tell you about it because I'm happy for them and I know that you'll be happy for them. But outside of you, why would I tell anybody that?
Right. Well, I think it's like too, as we get to this age, my friends know if they're telling me something and they specifically say, please don't tell Ryan, which rarely happens. They know that like when they're telling me, they're telling us. Like,
even if they told you not to tell me? No, if they told you not to tell me, you wouldn't tell me.
I just said, outside of the times that say,
sorry. I didn't hear
is
that
this one
properly.
of those times that you weren't listening?
No, I think if you listen back to you kind of worded it weird.
No, I said outside of the times that they say, please don't tell Ryan. Like if they don't say that to me, if it's not like, there isn't like a preset of that, then they know that they're telling both of us. And in the same sentence, when I share something with my friends, I'm sharing this assuming that they're going to tell their spouse, because it's kind of just like, yeah, that's a unit.
Yeah, but here's my thing. And this is something that I would say to a lot of people when you receive news from somebody. Do you take the good news that someone sends you and then go and bring that information to other people? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it's wrong. So please don't think this is a morality conversation, but it is an interesting conversation to be like, why did you bring that information to somebody else? Mm-hmm. Because personally, if I may, very rarely, and I mean very rarely, are you taking someone else's positive information, bringing it to somebody else in a positive way.
Right.
What often happens is you like to gauge the room and say, hey, did you guys hear the news about Brittany and Ryan? And then someone says, no, what's the news about Brittany and Ryan? And then you let them know what that news is and you wait for their feedback. Mm-hmm. But more often than not, that feedback is going to be like, oh, really? Must be nice.
That's such a classic one.
And you know what? I truly believe if you really, truly think about it, when you open up your mouth and tell someone else's story, you're looking to gossip about it. And it's not positive.
No, but I do think, and we've said this, I think that there are certain people you can vent to in a safe space, and those people know you well enough that like they're either going to check you and be like, okay, so like, are you happy? Are you not happy? And those, like, these certain people have to be small enough that you're not going to do this all the time. Like, if I'm ever like, say I see something online and we do this, like I'm like, why does that bother you? And you're like, you know what? I'm being an ass. Like you've literally said that. And same with me. If I'm talking to you about it, you're like, okay, so, but why does this affect you like that? And then it forces you to confront yourself and your feelings about it. It's okay sometimes just be like, fuck. And then we do this. And at the end, we're like, you know what? There's something not going great for us right now. We're not creating. If we're gossiping, we're not creating because we're judging. And we've went back to that, right?
If you're judging, you're not creating. So go back to creating.
Yeah.
I will say this. And you will test this. I am not the person you bring drama to. If it's outside of my control, do not bring drama to me
because you just want to fix it.
Or I see no value in me knowing it. Like, why do I care that so-and-so just did this, and this?
I don't know.
I don't like it.
For me,
I'll deal with it. It's like Vanderpump Rules. I'll listen to it. Like, because if that's what you want to talk about, sweetheart,
this is what I'm
that's
trying
what
to
I'll
say.
talk about. But I don't like other people's dramas.
If it's me, I get what you're saying for most people, but
I'm the problem, it's me.
if I bring something to you or somebody has done me wrong or treated me like
if you're involved in it, it's my drama.
And to the point where I'm like, yeah, like this kind of bothered me. I wish they didn't really like react like that, or like this conversation was uncomfortable for me in an interaction that I had in real life.
And I will slash their fucking tires.
Like I'm like, yeah, but like I just needed to get that out. And Ryan is like writing his fucking Kill Bill list, ready to go. I'm like, can you chill? Like everything's
let me be
fine.
very clear. If you bring your drama is my drama.
Right.
If it's happening to you, it's happening to me. If it's affecting you, it's affecting our life. If it's affecting our lives, I'm in it.
But you almost
And
like
I'm in it
amp
to
it
win
up
it.
to a point where I feel like after I'm done having this conversation with you, I'm like, should I be more offended because you're so angry on behalf
so
of
mad.
me that I'm like, oh,
You know what?
maybe?
I'll tell you why I get mad. Like loyalty to
I know.
me is everything. Loyalty and trust. And those two things kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
If someone lies to me, I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why would you lie to me about that? Like, what part of me did you think wasn't capable of accepting the truth in this situation?
Right.
And then when you flip that on the other side, loyalty, when someone isn't loyal to you and I know you're loyal to them, it is like inferior. I'm like, burn the fucking house down. We're moving to Vegas. We're moving to Vegas. Screw. Why would I go to
I have
Vegas?
no idea why
let's
you
move
said
to
Vegas.
Vegas.
Go, girls, we're going to Vegas.
We're moving to Hawaii. I don't need to deal with this garbage anymore. But what I was saying, and this is my point, is if the drama's not your drama, it's someone else's drama. I'm like, Britt, like I'll listen to this if you want to listen to it, but like, can we not have this conversation?
for
There's
sure.
no reason for us to be talking about these people.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
Period.
And I think it is human nature, though, to kind of want to know the tea. It definitely is human nature.
What is that? What's the tea?
The gossip. What's the hot tea? You know?
Is that a saying?
Yeah, like spill the tea. Are you kidding?
Oh.
Anyways, I think it is human nature to want to know the tea. I think as you get older, you kind of realize that it doesn't really serve you.
No, now you need like more caffeine. So
Shut up. Tea is caffeinated.
actually, there's more caffeine in tea than there is in coffee.
It's anyways, we're getting on a rant. When it comes
you
down to
look at
it,
that.
make sure you kind of ask yourself these questions and really take a look at who you're sharing your good news with, because it does say a lot about your friendships. And as you get older, we've said this before, like time is a currency, it's at least for us. And who and how you spend that really will dictate how your relationships go the rest of your life. Some people are investments, some people are bills. You got to pay them both, but one of them is better to pay than the other.
Yep, that's very poetic. One of them is better to pay than the other.
You have to pay them both?
You've got two beasts.
Fuck you. Let's move on. We're doing
Which
something
one do
cool.
you feed? I will say this. If you have a friend that you can tell good news to in full detail, if you can be fully self-expressed,
Cherish that friendship.
let them know how much you appreciate that. Because
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, if you really think about it, there are not a lot of people in your world that you can be fully authentic with when it comes to good news.
Love it. Okay, so
Lean
we've had Dr. Tracy on the show before. She is
A couple times, actually.
She's fantastic. She's one of my favorite peeps. So she actually gave us this PDF, and it is called 100 Questions to Spark a Deeper Conversation with Your Partner. And it's exactly that. There are 100 questions in here. It's free. We're going to link this in the show notes. Excuse me.
It's a good date night.
It is. And like, not that you need wine, but like pour yourself a glass of wine, stay in. Like if you've got kids, this is the biggest struggle, right? Date night where you just get looped into sitting on the couch and watching Netflix and it becomes repetitive. Make this intentional. Make a drink, make a mocktail if you want, and sit down and go through these questions.
What is a mocktail?
A cocktail, but virgin. It's mocktail. Like a
Oh.
mocktail. Are you kidding? Like how it's made from the tea that we spilt earlier.
Like 2 minutes ago. A mocktail. Really?
Yes. Oh my God.
They don't
Have
call
you
them
never heard that?
non-alcoholic beverages?
No, they call them mocktails.
You would think that they would say that.
Well, probably in the like.
Can I have a mocktini?
No, it's just like a mocktail. It's like something that you would also say if you're pregnant. Like
I'll have a mock and
mocktails.
Coke, please.
It's not it.
Yeah.
That would be rye. Like so, they would be like, "What?
Yeah.
What do you want? What's the mock?"
Ing.
Anyways, okay, listen.
Yeah.
We are
Mockingbird, don't everybody have you heard I got a mockingbird? Name the movie.
I can't now.
Oh my God, you cannot make no.
Dumb and Dumber?
Yes.
Okay. Can we move on, please?
You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
You right now? We're not gonna go through all these questions because there's 100 of them.
And we want you guys to do it yourself.
But we are gonna
free PDF on our link. Click on it. Dr. Tracy, she's phenomenal.
We are gonna go through a couple just because we can give you a little taste. Ryan's picked some, and I'm gonna skim some.
The likelihood going through this list, the likelihood of you being able to do 100 is probably slim.
Mm-hmm. Maybe split it up.
Split it up.
Yeah.
Have multiple date nights. Use this as like a pre-drink with your mocktail or cocktail, and then get into it.
Okay.
Not like. I guess good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start with this one. I really like this one. What are the 3 things that you think that we have in common?
Oh.
And you can't say like our kids, our job.
Well, I guess the list is gone. Well, I think our humor is, we have a very, very keen sense of humor. And I think
agree.
our humor is, it's interesting because there's many different forms of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Our
like
humor.
Funny and not.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, for sure. But like, no, what I'm saying is there's multiple forms of humor. Your humor, my humor, they drive well together.
Sure.
It's a symbiotic relationship. Our humor is. I am funny, ha ha, and you are funny, witty.
Yeah.
But your wittiness,
called me Whitney.
But your wittiness and my funny ha ha, they match very well. So I would say humor for sure.
Yeah.
I would say we have a love for movies. We do. Yeah. Well, you don't love movies? Am I wrong? Do we not have that in common anymore?
I do. I just think it's like of all things, you're like, we both love the movie.
What? Well, listen, Brittany, in our early stages, like that was something that was easy for us to do. I love that
you said it because I do agree. I just was expecting something.
Well, you said I can't talk about business. I can't talk about kids. I can't talk about family.
I like it.
So I'm talking about like things outside of the normal box.
Yes.
I could talk about like our passions. Sure. I would say humor. I would say movies. And since I can't talk about things like movies, I'll say we have very similar creative minds. Creativity is art. We both enjoy art.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I don't have as much time as you to paint things during the day. But I do love art.
I thought you were going to say I don't have as much talent as you.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
like, geez,
okay.
Jeepers Creepers, Brittany.
Time? That was such a weird
You
dig.
need time to build talent. And I don't have any of that. See, you thought I was going to compliment you, and then I actually didn't compliment you, which made that funny. That's kind of my funny haha. You know?
Funny, not funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyways,
good.
I agree with those. I also think that we have the zero patience in common for like lack of social awareness. Yeah, just in general. Like
just people.
I said this to you the other day. Like when we're out and we're like at say Wonderland or like any like public place and people are just driving us crazy. It's one of my favorite versions of Ryan because he is so off the cuff and like says the most things under his breath that make me cackle because they're so true and they're so blunt and I just like laugh so hard because otherwise I would feel like I'd be violent with how dumb people are. Anyways,
I do like when we are at Wonderland. I would agree. When I know when I'm at Wonderland or anything like that, I can be like I can look at you, say nothing, and you're like, I get it.
Yeah,
I'm like, the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, it's the best.
What is happening right now?
It's the best.
Did this just happen right now?
Agreed.
Anyways, okay, my question for you. What is the one trait about me that you admire the most?
Oh, okay. There's
I
a lot.
like movies.
No, I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Okay. If I had to
pick
the most.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say it's because I truly do not have this.
Math.
And no, but thanks.
Oh, okay.
It is when you give people the space and the time to talk. So whether that's in business, whether that's in a conversation, somebody is venting to you, because really, like, Ryan actually has quite a few friends that call him for advice or just like to talk and have a conversation about whatever's going on in their life. Ryan holds space. You hold space for them because you have such respect and patience for people, which I commend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I haven't prepared mine, so you can ask.
Brittany, what is one thing you would change about your childhood?
What? I don't know if I would change anything about my childhood.
No confidence. You wouldn't have inserted
that's
confidence?
a good one. But that's not really childhood. That's
No,
more
it is.
me. That's more
you.
what I would change about myself
Yeah.
as a child.
Yeah, that would be what you change about your child.
No, it's not. It's two different things.
I'm not talking about like how your parents raised you or anything like that. I'm talking like if you could go back and change something about you in your childhood, what would it be?
Yeah, like I think for me, is it okay if I don't go all the way back to childhood and maybe like stop around like university?
Do your thing, girl.
Okay. I wish I could go back and redo my undergrad, because with the mindset that I have now, and I've told you this like multiple times, I hated my undergrad. I was unhappy. I was in a really unhealthy relationship. I was partying all the time. I just didn't have a good head on my shoulders. And I feel like I missed out on a lot of opportunities to learn more about something that I was so in love with. Like, I went to school for art and drama, and I feel like I missed it. Like, I missed classes. I mean, I went to my classes, but I wasn't focusing. I wasn't there. I wasn't the best version of myself. And so I often think about what I would be like and what I would have taken from my undergrad if I would have went in with the mindset that I have now.
Yeah.
I have regrets on
I like that.
Yeah. What about you?
I would have had more sex. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have been a player.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. No. Oh, assuming that I didn't, catch anything or birth anything. If my life became my life, that I would probably add that to it.
All right. That's fair.
You know what it is, believe it or not, because I am extremely a confident individual when it comes to sports. I was not as confident as I projected.
Oh, so you maybe would believe in yourself a bit more?
100%. Yeah. I always had a reason. If I failed, I always had a reason to back up why I was.
That's where Riley gets it from. Me too. I'm bad for that too.
I wish I wouldn't have done that.
It's a defense mechanism, right?
I wish I would have had more fun playing sports as opposed to just being in like this, I gotta do this thing.
I also feel like I would add that to mine too. Like, I wish I wasn't so in my own head about the way I looked. As for a girl, I mean, we're way more acceptable today, but girls who played sports when I was younger aren't like the girls who played sports today. Like, if you were like a pretty, like if you like to wear makeup and dress nice, you didn't play sports. Like, it was one or the other. And so I felt like I had to choose when I was in grade 8, and I didn't like that because I did love sports and I was pretty good at them.
We love sports and we don't care who knows.
Anyway, okay. This is a kind of a weird one. I like it though. If you could get rid of one personality trait, what would it be? And what would it free you up to do? It's deep, eh?
It's deep.
Sorry, this is for you.
This is for me. Yeah,
Not
of course.
for me.
For you, of course. For me, this is a hard one because I think that all of your negatives are positives to
Yeah.
a certain degree.
I can see
If
that.
I think I care too much. Like, I care about everybody a little bit too much.
Like you have a bit of a bleeding heart.
And I think if I could eliminate some of that, I would be more productive in certain categories. I would move on quicker from certain things.
I agree.
And I would, when the signs were being shown, I wouldn't continue to be the one that gets beaten up by them. I see the best in people. I feel like, you know what? You're fucking me over right now. I know you're fucking me over right now, but maybe you'll stop.
And that goes back to like you just holding space for people and not burning a bridge where like,
yeah. So what you admire the most about me, I would change.
I think that you could do with a little hard love because there definitely comes a time where you can cut people off, right?
Yep.
Like They can come in and out of your life. They've served their purpose, and that was all that they were meant to do.
Yeah. Right? We had a meeting today about that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And the one guy's like, I admire that you do that. I'm like, don't.
See, he's on the same.
Anyways.
Don't, I suck.
Here's my last question for you.
Okay.
This is a good one. This is deep.
Okay.
Would you rather lie to me and keep me happy, or tell me the truth and deal with my sadness?
B, 1,000%. I'm not a good liar. Like we've talked about this before. You and I know this. I could never cheat because the pressure of me knowing this information, like this huge secret, would eat at me. And I just couldn't do that. So I couldn't lie to you about something, even though I knew it would hurt you. Like I just couldn't hold on to that. It would.
Let's say you
way
did
too
cheat.
fucking
Let's
heavy.
say you did cheat on me, because it's easy to say I would never do that. But let's say you did cheat on me.
I just wouldn't.
Would you tell me that you did?
Yeah.
Or would you just pretend it
No,
never
like
happened?
I would 100%. And we've talked about this before. That's a conversation that we've both had. We wouldn't. I mean, you just said like never say never, but we both had the conversation of saying we're more inclined to be like, hey, it's leading down this road. I'm about to cheat on you, than cheat on you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we would say, like, I'd call you up and be like, things are not going well before it would happen.
So I've got this guy's penis in my hand, and I haven't
Where
done
do you
anything
think
with
this is going?
I haven't done anything with it, but I'm about to.
Yeah, no.
So we'll talk about this tomorrow.
I couldn't, I personally just couldn't live with a heavy lie.
Yeah.
It would be hard to know that whatever it is would hurt you inevitably. But I think for me, I just I could not be myself around you with this information. Like
I don't
it
think
would eat
there's,
at me.
if I wasn't involved in the sad news, I would tell you, because I know that I would be there for you to support you through it. If I was the cause of the bad news, I'd still tell you, because I don't want to live with that.
I think too,
And I'd rather you be, if I did something really dickish, I would rather you be happy with somebody else.
That's nice. I think that we also, I was taking that conversation as if it was something that you did that made me sad. It's also interesting to answer the question is if you have information that would make me upset. Do I need to know it? I don't know. But this actually just happened and in my life, and it wasn't like bad news. It was just like, it is what it is. And my friend was like, hey, I think you should know this. And I was like, huh. And at the end of the day, she was like, is it causing more trouble than it was worth? I don't know, but
always tell me.
Always tell me, because say I found out months later that you knew, I would be fucking pissed. I would be like, why wouldn't you tell me that? Like,
100%.
You know, but not everybody is like that, because some people are like, I ignorance is bliss, right?
This goes back to the who would you tell good news to, who would you tell bad news to kind of situation. If one of my friends, good friends, knew something that happened, whether it be with you or whatever, that would impact me, even though they know it would make me sad, for me, it's a lack of loyalty for them not to tell me.
Yes, I agree.
I can deal with being sad. I can't deal with being lied to.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
So we got to wrap this up. You got another question?
No, I think there's so many here. I think that's a good way to stop it. There's 100 of them. So we can maybe just bring a couple on the next podcast if we want to, but definitely go check Dr. Tracy out. Again, we'll link it in the show notes, and follow her on the gram, because she's got a lot of free content and
amazing
her
content.
Reels are just so good. Like the information that's in them is quick, it's easy, it's efficient, and it literally has you saying, well, anyways, this was fun.
Yeah.
Love you.
Not a super funny episode for us. And this was a little deepy.
It was a little deep.
Little deepy.
It's crazy. Well, you did, have Spin Cooper out of that was kind of funny. The cactus was funny.
Okay. Well, have a good day.
Bye.
There goes a sight from my soul.